House of Israel. Let the assembly say, Praise Yahweh. At this time that we all stand as we go into prayer. Rabbi Yahweh, we told you for seeing us through another week. We told you for bringing us through any hurt, harm, and danger that may have came our way, from shielding us from anything that Shaitan might have thrown our way. Rabbi Yahweh, we told you for the feast that we just took part of. Told you for your word, the wisdom and understanding of your Torah. Rabbi Yahweh, continue to give us knowledge, give us wisdom of your word. Continue to show us your ways. Continue to have us, Rabbi Yahweh, to be a Kodesh nation, walking righteously in front of you. Rabbi Yahweh, continue to be with those that are seeking you at this very hour. Rabbi Yahweh, continue to open their eyes, show them the way, show them the truth, Rabbi Yahweh. Have them walking in your light, your precious light. Show them the true way in this lifetime. Rabbi Yahweh, continue to even be with us. That our eyes are open. Rabbi Yahweh, continue to just strengthen us to walk this way. Strengthen us to not turn back on you on this way, but to just walk this way boldly and proclaim your ways, proclaim your name in front of the nations, and not be ashamed, not be embarrassed, but to just have confidence in you all the days of our lives. Rabbi Yahweh, we continue to pray for even those that are less fortunate, those that may be on the streets, those that may not have homes, those that may not have food. Rabbi Yahweh, provide for them. Be with them, Yahweh, in such a way that they are pleased with whatever they may have. Rabbi Yahweh, help us not to take for granted the things that you have given us, but to have Torah and all the things that you have given us. It may not seem like a lot, but it is all the things that we need to survive in this lifetime. And Rabbi Yahweh, most importantly, we ask that you place your Ruach Ha Kodesh in these vessels. Most importantly, that gift that you have given to those that seek that, Rabbi Yahweh, continue to fill us up in such a manner that we walk in strength in your son, Yahshua HaMashiach, and walk in his footsteps and not fear anything in this world. In Yahshua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. House of Israel, you may be seated. I say shalom once again. House of Israel, Shabbat Shalom. It is tough to once again be in the house of Almighty Yahweh. Hallelujah. And I say Shabbat Shalom to all that are tuning in on the live stream. Today, I want to talk about the Ruach Ha Kodesh. Today, I want to reflect on those things that we have done in this past feast and show us what we are going into in the next feast, the following feast that precedes this, and how it's important that we need to seek that Ruach. Because you see how the world is towards Israel. You see the world doesn't care nothing about Israel. All the things that we go through in this lifetime, we can't do this on our own. We're going to need that Ruach Ha Kodesh, that the Holy Spirit that Yahweh has placed on his people. And that Ruach is going to guide you. It's going to see you through all hurt, harm, and danger. It's going to give you discernment in this world, in this lifetime, those things that we need to get by in this lifetime. So we have to seek that Ruach Ha Kodesh. You can't The title of the message is Do Not Suppress That Ruach Ha Kodesh. You know, let Yahweh work within your vessels, Israel. That's what he wants to do. He wants to dwell within inside your vessel. But guess what? He's not going to dwell in the vessel that is filthy and wicked. That's why even his Kodesh temple, the temple that you place his name, had to keep that Kodesh also. Because he wants to dwell within here also. And if Yahweh dwells within your vessels, he dwells within your dwellings, guess what? It's going to be peace. It's going to be shalom within that vicinity. He's not going to allow any chaos, wickedness, evil to come near, because you are allowing him to be here. Like that song that we sang, Welcome Precious Ruach. That song, you are saying, Abba Yahweh, we want you here, dwelling amongst us. Don't sing that song if you really don't mean it. Don't sing that song if you wicked, evil, and you despise Almighty Yahweh. Nah, that song right there, you sing it with some passion to show Yahweh that you want him near you. You don't want anything else in this world but to dwell with Almighty Yahweh and his son, Yahshua HaMashiach. And then that's what his feasts are all about. That's what his days are all about. Yahweh's Torah is all about us in unity. All us loving one another. He continually shows us that's how we have to be amongst each other. And when I go through the message, I will highlight some of those things that we are supposed to be one by. You know, we are supposed to be one with Almighty Yahweh, like Yahshua HaMashiach is one with his Father. He said he's married unto you, Israel. Didn't he say that? Now, when he says, when you get married to one another, it's two people. But when you married, it's one flesh. So he wants us to be like that. He wants us to think like one like mind. A lot of people might think, okay, how everybody going to think the same thing? How everybody going to do the same thing? If you following Almighty Yahweh's Torah, obeying him and obeying his commands, guess what? You have unity amongst one another. There is going to be unity, but we only going to get unity if we follow this Torah. That's the only way. Can't do it any kind of way. Can't do it how we want to do it. Has to follow line for line what's in his Torah. Other than that, can't have it. So, Yisrael, this evening, we want to talk about that Ruach and how important that Ruach is for us and what it can do for us if we just let it work in our vessels. Hallelujah. All right, this evening, like I said, the title is Do Not Suppress the Ruach Ha Kodesh. And let it work within you, Israel. So let's go to 1 Thessalonians, starting out. First Thessalonians 5:19. And he says, do not put out the Ruach's fire. Don't put it out, Yisrael. If he working within your vessels, let it take over. Let it guide you. Don't put it out. Just like he says, you're light unto the world. Don't hide that light from the world. You know, you are important, like he says, but that Ruach, let it guide you. It says, do not treat prophecies with contempt. You know, don't disregard prophecies. These things in his Torah, they coming down the line. Everything following line by line. You look out in the world, everything Yahweh says in his Torah is coming into fruition. Everything he's saying is saying what is going on in this book. That's all people have to do is open their eyes, look in the world, see what's going on. It's right in his Torah. So we can't disregard anything that Yahweh has given us. Yahweh is giving you different things to save you from this world, so you can have salvation. He points out every little detail because he is your father. It's just like the earthly sense, father and their children. They want their children to make it, be successful. They're going to teach them every little thing they need, so when they get older, they'll be ready. Same thing with Almighty Yahweh. He's teaching us. He's guiding us, giving us everything we need in this lifetime, so we'll be ready. Ready for what? Ready to walk in his almighty kingdom. That's what we all should be striving for. That's what we all should be seeking, that kingdom, to be in shalom with Almighty Yahweh. That says test everything. Hold on to what's tough and avoid every kind of evil. And when we come out of this, the feast, the Pesach, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, it's just like that. Just avoid all things. Get rid of everything, any evil that might be in your minds, wickedness that might be in your minds. Get away from all of it. Just continue to walk with Almighty Yahweh. That's all we have to do, Israel. It's like we always say this way of life is not hard. It's not hard at all. We just have to discipline ourselves in this way of life. We have to obey and do what Yahweh says. See, that's what gets people a lot. They don't want to be disciplined. They want to do what they want to do. No, that doesn't work with Almighty Yahweh. See, but Yahweh gives us the way. He shows us the plan to succeed. And a lot of times we don't want that. But if we're going to succeed, we have to take what Yahweh says seriously. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians 4:29 says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. See, don't talk any kind of way, especially in this temple. And I'm not saying, okay, you can go out there and talk any way you want. No. In front of your family, in front of your brethren, speak of the ways of Yahweh. Speak on all tough things that Yahweh has in his word. There's no reason that we have to be talking all the fleshly things of the world inside his temple. We have to be wholesome, wholesome talk, Israel. No, you see enough of it in the world, don't we? All the talk that we hear at your jobs, on the streets, all that unwholesome talk that we hear all day. Do you want to hear that in his temple? No. So you should want to be Kodesh, want to be righteous, and because you're among like-minded people. You should want that. You should, like you said, all the other days get in the way. You should want, when the Shabbat is over with, you should yearn for the next Shabbat to come. Waiting for his feast days, because you get to talk to people of one like mind. All that are striving for the same thing. That's why we shouldn't be fighting amongst one another, because we all should be striving for the same thing. What is there to argue about in Yahweh's word? If we all supposed to agree, right? What is there to argue about? And no one's is bigger than the other person. That also gets in the way. People pride. They want to be the big man. They want to be over people. But Yahweh does not like that. He looks at all of you as the same. And that's how we had to see each other. And it says, do not grieve the Ruach Ha Kodesh of Yahweh, with whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. So he's going to seal his people. He's going to place that Ruach on them, because times are going to get tough, Israel. If you want to believe it or not, that's what it says in his Torah. You know, like I said, I always say in this time period, might not be that tough right now, you know, but it's going to be a day when it's going to get rougher and rougher, Israel, and we're going to have to rely on Yahweh. We're going to have to let him dwell within us so he can lead us. Because if he's not dwelling in your vessels, this is flesh. You know that flesh is weak. Yahweh knows that. And if we don't recognize that we need him, when that day comes, when it gets rough and tough, guess what? We're going to fold up. That's all we're going to do. We're going to give up and not even rely on Yahweh. We're going to forget all about him. When things come down in this world that get rough on Israel, people probably going to be like, oh, Yahweh is doing this to us to punish us. You know, but we have to want that Ruach. He's going to seal his people for that day of redemption. We all want to be sealed with that. And he's not talking to everybody. He knows everybody does not want that Ruach. He knows people in there, don't deceive yourselves and think, okay, everybody should want the Ruach. Everybody should be guided by it. Everybody is not going to want that Ruach. And you can see how the world is going. But those that say they're Israel, those that say they're walking with him, seek that out, Israel, every day of your lives. Because we go up against stuff. I told you, each and every day. Shaitan is coming at you each and every day. He does not stop. Because he knows if he gets you off the trail, then he got you. If he can distract you from the feast days, he got you. But with the Ruach, Shaitan will not be able to distract you. You can discern different things, different people that come at you that are not real. That Ruach is going to tell you, okay, this person is not real. So don't think that Ruach is just any old thing, that it won't show you anything. That Ruach even gives you different gifts. See, each and every person can't be the same. Can't be the same. But he gives each and every person their own gifts. Because you're one body, and with that one body and all the gifts, it'd be beneficial to us all. Can't have one person doing something and everybody else had to do the same thing. No, you got to work in the gifts that Yahweh has given you. Let's go up to the 20th verse. Same chapter. To you, however, did not come to know the Messiah that way. As far as the filthy talk, the just doing any type of things in front of Almighty Yahweh, you were not brought up like that. Yahweh showed you how to live. Surely you heard of him and were taught in him in accordance with the truth that is in Yahshua. You were taught with regards to your former way of life. Now we're going into like what we just came out of. That feast that we just came out of. Weren't we all taught the ways of Yahweh, how to keep the feast, what it leads to? All of those things we were taught of. So we can't tell Yahweh, okay, I didn't know the way. I didn't know what the feast days were. I didn't know what they were about, what they led to. Can't say that. It says you all taught. So you are held accountable. You are held accountable for all those things that you know. You can't hear something and then, okay, forget it. Because Yahweh is going to bring it back to you in judgment and tell you, okay, this sister, this brother here told you. That's the way it was supposed to be. And you can't deny it. So like I said, when we hear things, we can't be forgetful hearers, Israel. And then we can't just hear the word, but we have to do it. Now it says, you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like Yahweh in true righteousness and holiness. See, he's creating you a new vessel to be one with Almighty Yahweh, to see things like he is seeing, to be righteous like he is. That's what we are doing these things for, Israel. That's why we are walking this way, Israel, because we have to strive to be that Kodesh nation. We have to strive and show Almighty Yahweh we are the ones that he has called. You know, don't walk this way of life and you don't know why you walking. No, we have to walk and know that we are walking this for salvation. We have to know that in our minds. A lot of people, they do things and they don't know what it's about. They don't know why they're doing it. It's just doing it. It's a repetitive thing. You know, you do things for a long period of time, it gets to be a habit. And a lot of people after a while don't even know why they're doing it. But like I said, this way of life, we ought to know why we're doing this. We ought to teach our children why we're doing this, so they will know when they get older. It's a continuous cycle, Israel. So it says, be like Yahweh, true and righteousness and holiness. That's what we have to be. We have to be real with Almighty Yahweh. Let's go with Yeshayah or Isaiah. This is Isaiah chapter 63. I'm going to start at verse 7. And he says, I will tell of the kindnesses of Yahweh, the deeds for which he is to be praised, according to all Yahweh has done for us. Don't he deserve to be praised, Israel, for everything he has done? So it says, according to Yahweh has done for us. Yes, the many tough things he has done for the house of Israel, according to his compassion and many kindnesses. So it's nothing Yahweh has done that make us go astray. He has been kind to us. He has been compassionate. He's been there for Israel. So whose fault is it? It's our fault. That's why we had to continue to look in ourselves and make sure we are walking right. Make sure we are doing everything that Yahweh has commanded. Don't look at other people, look at yourself and continue to do that, Israel. That's what we had coming out the feast. Don't go, like I said, don't go back to the old ways. Don't forget about the feast. No, continue to reflect on what was done. Continue to reflect and then be very sorrowful and get rid of that old stuff. Just continue to walk with Almighty Yahweh. And it says, he said, surely they are my people, sons who will not be false to me. And so he became their savior. In all their distress, he too was distressed. See, so don't say Yahweh don't have any feelings. Yahweh doesn't care about his people. When you're going through something, Yahweh feels that too. When you are distressed, it says he's going to feel it. You know, when you are down, he feels it. Just that's why when you cry out to Almighty Yahweh, he will answer. I've seen it myself. I know you all may have seen it, but Yahweh answers. Don't get down and pray and doubt. Can't doubt, okay, is he going to do this for me? No, you have to believe he will do that for you, Israel. When you bend down on those knees, cry out to Yahweh, believe it, and it will happen. Now it says, and the angel of his presence saved them. And his Ahava and Hasid, he redeemed them. He lifted them up and carried them all the days of old. But guess what? They rebelled and grieved his Ruach Ha Kodesh. After all he had done for them, they went against that Ruach. So he turned and became their enemy. And he himself fought against them. See, that's what happened when you anger Almighty Yahweh. At a certain point in time, he's not going to let you continue to disgrace him, to bring down his name because you want to live like how you want to live, and you say you claim you're a Hebrew Israelite. No, doesn't work like that. If you claim to be a Hebrew Israelite, walk like it. Show the world who you are standing for. Now, but like it says, he fought against us. It says, then his people recalled the days of old. See that? The days of Moshe and his people. Where is he who brought them through the sea with the shepherd of his flock? Where is he who set his Ruach Ha Kodesh among them, who sent his honorable arm of power to be at Moshe's right hand, who divided the waters before them to gain for himself everlasting renown, who led them through the depths? See, that's how people are a lot of times. They reminisce. They like, oh man, I remember the good old days. See, don't let it get to that point, Israel. Don't walk with Yahweh right in righteousness. Don't, okay, I want to do wickedly, I want to do evil to provoke Almighty Yahweh. And then when he punishes you, bring down judgment on your head, then you want to, okay, yeah, I remember those good old days when Yahweh was with us. You know, he was tough, he was compassionate. Don't let it get to that point. A lot of us want to test Almighty Yahweh. We can't test Yahweh. And we never like punishment. Who in here likes punishment? Shouldn't be anybody. So if we don't like punishment, we should not test Almighty Yahweh, because that's what's coming to us. But that's how Israel's history was. And back then, still going on to this day. Because like I said, it's a continuous cycle. Still doing the same things. But those that see, those that know that Yahweh is tough, you got to see that Yahweh is there for you, and that we don't want to provoke Almighty Yahweh. We don't want to provoke him to anger, because that punishment comes, then you want to cry out to him. Guess what? He turned his back on you. Same way you turned your back on him. So, like I said, you grieved that Ruach Ha Kodesh. You didn't pay it no mind. You know, just let it go. When Yahweh was working in you the whole time. Yeah, you seen Mizraim got you out of there. A mighty nation that had nothing to do with just them. No, that was the power of Almighty Yahweh. They didn't say, okay, yeah, let's get up now and leave Mizraim. No, Yahweh gave the command, like he's going to give the command in the future. Come out of her, my people. It is time. So we have to listen to Almighty Yahweh. And he was going to prepare them to be a nation on their own. Don't have to rely on the nations, but just rely on Yahweh. He provide everything that you need. But the mindset, no, we want to go back. We want to go back to what we had. Couldn't trust in Almighty Yahweh. Can't have that same mindset this day, Israel. Because he gave you the example of what happened to them when they turned their back on him. What happened to them when they murmured, when they went against Almighty Yahweh. They're not going to make it to that promised land. Just like this day, we're not going to make it into his kingdom if we keep cutting up, if we keep doing what we want to do. Walk with Yahweh, receive that Ruach Ha Kodesh. Now, let's go to Acts. Acts chapter 7. I'm going to start at verse 39. It says, but our fathers refused to obey him. Instead, they rejected him in their hearts. Turned back to Mizraim. They told Aaron, make us gods, who will go before us. As for this fellow Moshe, who led us out of Mizraim, we don't know what happened to him. Since that was the time they made an idol in the form of a calf. They brought sacrifices to it and held a celebration and honor what they made with their hands. See, that's two errors right there. Right in that very sentence. You're going to make a God so you can follow it. And then, not only that, you had a celebration to honor what you made with your own hands. Looking like, okay, basically putting yourself on the same level as Almighty Yahweh. Because you made something, now you can worship it. No. Now you can tell that angered Almighty Yahweh. After all he had done, and all of a sudden you want to make something out of nothing and worship it. When Almighty Yahweh can do all things. He made everything on this earth. But you're going to make something out of an idol into a calf and worship that. That angered Almighty Yahweh. Now it says, but Yahweh turned away and gave them over to the worship of the heavenly bodies or the heavens. You have people this day, they worship everything in this earth, everything in the universe. You got people that worship the sun, moon, stars, everything that's not Yahweh. But Yahweh made all those things. How backwards is that? But people's minds are so far gone. You got people that don't even think he exists. All the things that you see in this earth, everything that he is giving you as a vessel to have you function, but Yahweh does not exist. It doesn't make a bit of sense. But that's, like I said, the mindset of the people. It says this agrees with what is written in the book of the prophets. Did you bring me sacrifices and offerings 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You have lifted up the shrine of Molech, and the star of your God refined, the idols you made to worship. Therefore, I will send you into exile beyond Babylon. Punishment. Like I said, if we don't follow him, if we continue to just disregard him, the punishment comes. And that's what happened. We all are scattered because we disobey. We transgress. So we had to pay for our sins, Israel. But don't give up just because we scattered among the world, we amongst the nations. A lot of people give up. No, don't give up. This is when you ought to cry out to Almighty Yahweh. See, Yahweh puts you in situations sometimes to get your attention. Now, this should get our attention. We are the tail of everything. This should get our attention. We must obey Almighty Yahweh. So when he says those that are humble will be exalted, we believe in that. And then those that exalt themselves at this very day, guess what? Gonna have to be humble. Everything gonna have to reverse, but we have to believe what he says. Let's go down to the 48th verse. And it says, however, the Most High does not live in houses made by men. As the prophet says, heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. What kind of house will you build for me, Israel? See, that's what he's asking. What house are you building for me? Where can Almighty Yahweh dwell? He's talking about these vessels. That's where he wants to dwell, Israel. Not talking about no $1 billion mansion. Not even talking about $150,000 house. No, he wants to dwell in this house, this vessel. That's what he cares about. He's showing you he doesn't care about all those material things like the world looks at. He cares about his people. And that's where he wants to dwell, within you, so he can guide you the right way. That's compassion. That's love. Now it says, well, where will the resting place be? Has not my hands made all these things? See, he made everything. Why not worship him? Why not acknowledge him? He made all things. Now it says, You stiff-necked people with uncircumcised hearts and ears, you are just like your fathers. That hurt right there. That's like a punch. That's a blow to the stomach. See, he said you stiff-necked. All they don't want to listen, all they're doing their own thing, stiff-necked. Just like I said, giving us an example of what Israel did in the past. He says, just like your fathers, doing the same thing, continuing the cycle. It says, you always resist the Ruach Ha Kodesh. It says, was there ever a prophet your fathers did not persecute? Say it. That's what they do to the righteous. They always come because Shaitan, he rules this world right now, and he does not want any ounce of righteousness to go in this earth. He wants to get rid of all of righteousness. So those who even stand up for Yahweh's name's sake, he wants them to be perished. He wants to get rid of them, because if you stand for Yahweh's name, he don't want everybody to hear that. He says they even killed those who predicted the coming of the righteous one. And who was that? Yahshua HaMashiach. And now you have betrayed and murdered him. See that? Everybody that lived righteous, they had a problem with it. That spirit that was within them had to come out and hated it. Just like we should hate evil, they hate what's righteous. That's plain and simple. But it says, you who have received the law that was put into effect through the mighty king, but have not obeyed it. You received this, Israel. But like I said, we continue to not obey. We continue to not do what Almighty Yahweh says. Let's go to, I'm going to stop. I'm going to come back to this. But I want to go to 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 14. He talks about what we were just talking about, where he wants to dwell, Israel. And it says, 1 Corinthians 6:14, by his power Yahweh raised Yahshua from the dead, and he will raise us also. So you live right, you do what Yahweh says. When we die, that's not just it, Israel. He's going to raise you also in that first resurrection. You, like I said, you have to believe that. A lot of people don't believe it's something after this. A lot of people, that's why they cutting up in this world now, sinning, doing whatever they want to do, because they like, I'm going to get my fun now before I die. But guess what? You get your fun now, but when you die and wake up, guess what? You're going to be in torment. Just because you had an attitude like that, just because you didn't want to follow Yahweh. But it says, do you not know that your bodies are the member of Messiah himself? Shall I then take the members of the Messiah and unite them with a prostitute? That sounds kind of vulgar, don't it? It should. That you don't want to unite something with a prostitute. A prostitute unclean. They've been with every other person. No, he wants you to get that visual too. Like, oh, no, that's filthy. Exactly. That's what he's trying to show you. If you don't follow Yahweh, if you don't follow his son Yahshua HaMashiach, and you don't want to dwell with him, guess what? Filthy. Now it says, shall I then take the members of the Messiah and unite them with the prostitute? He says, never. Do you not know that he who unites himself with the prostitute is one with her body? See, it's talked about the two become one flesh. And you uniting yourself with a prostitute that been with all these other people. Then you one with that prostitute. Filthy. Now it says, for it is said, The two will become one flesh. But he who unites himself with Yahweh is one with him in spirit, or Ruach. So unite yourself with Almighty Yahweh so we can be one with him. One with him so we can walk right, do what he commands. We don't want to make an error. We don't want to slip up. Yahweh knows the flesh. It's going to slip up sometime. It's going to send a couple of instances here and there. But Yahweh wants us to dwell with him so we can strive to perfection. That's the only way. We want to see things with Yahweh sees them. That's how it was from the beginning with Adam. He saw things like Yahweh wanted him to see. And everything that he did was in the mind of Almighty Yahweh, even to naming the animals and everything. That's how he's going to restore things, Israel. We can't unite in this lifetime, but guess what? In that kingdom, everybody will be united. Everybody will be of one like mind, and everybody will be doing the same things. We should yearn for that. We should be wanting to look for that, Israel. Now it says, flee from fornication. All other sins a man commits are outside his body, but he who sins sexually sins against his own body. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Ruach Ha Kodesh, who is in you, whom you have received from Almighty Yahweh? This is a free gift, Israel. This ain't something that you got to pay for. The world, you can't get a lot of things free in this world. You got to pay for everything. But Yahweh is giving you this freely. That's all we had to do is accept it. That's all. There's no strings behind it. There's no catch behind those things. All we had to do is receive it. This is, you are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor Yahweh with your body. That's all we had to do, Israel. If we honor this, if we say we love ourselves, don't just mess this body up. You got people that drink to alcoholism, they smoke, fornicate, do all types of things to their body. But Yahweh is not going to dwell within that. So we have to be clean. We have to be a clean vessel to Almighty Yahweh if we want him to dwell within this body. It's plain and simple. Yahweh gives us the rules. All we have to do is follow. It ain't nothing hard to do, like I said. When it gets hard, it's because we battling back and forth from the world to here. We want to continue to hold on to things in the world and also hold on to things with Yahweh. No, Yahweh wants you to pick a side. Yahweh don't want you straddling. Yahweh says, okay, be that hot or cold, okay? Yahweh doesn't like that, because if you straddling, you're not with him anyway. Plain and simple. So let's go to Jeremiah. I'm going to go back to Acts. But I want to point out something also in Jeremiah. How he said in Acts, your hearts are uncircumcised. That's because that means that you're not getting rid of that sin. You're not getting rid of the evil within the hearts of your mind. Not this heart, the hearts of your mind. You still thinking the same way. You still thinking like the old self. You're not getting rid of the sin. But Yahweh wants you to circumcise that heart. So this is Jeremiah 4. Starting at verse 4. It says, circumcise yourselves to Yahweh. Circumcise your hearts, you men of Yehuda and people of Jerusalem, or my wrath will break out and burn like fire because of the evil you have done. Burn with no one to quench it. See, he says his wrath is going to come if you don't circumcise your hearts. If you are not real within yourself, if you're not following Almighty Yahweh in righteousness, guess what? His wrath will come. And he says his fire, no one will be able to quench it. No one will be able to put it out. So we don't want to dwell within fire, period. But this fire is going to burn forever and ever. We don't want to burn forever and ever. We want to be in shalom. We suffer enough in this world. What is if you stand in this lifetime, you suffer. What is the point of you suffering in this lifetime, and then when you die, you're going to suffer in the next lifetime? That's crazy. You should want relief from this world. You should want relief from all the things that are coming down on Israel. So like I said, just circumcise your hearts, Israel. Get rid of everything, that evil. Let's go to even the book of Romans, and it talks about it. This is Romans chapter 2. Romans 2:28 says, a man is not a Yahudim if he is only one outwardly. See, people claim, oh yeah, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. That's all they claim, and then that's it. That's all they had to do. They don't have to obey Yahweh. Just walk and say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm going to make it. That's how people think, Israel. Now it says, nor is circumcision merely outward and physical. No, a man is a Yahudim if he is one inwardly. See, starts within yourself first, Israel. Then whatever's on the outside, people will see it on you. You can't, it doesn't work vice versa. Okay, I'm going to look like I'm righteous, you know. No, you have to inwardly be righteous. Get rid of every wickedness that Yahweh hates, and then it'll portray outwardly to the people. Now it says, and circumcision is not circumcision of the heart. It says by the Ruach, not by the written code. It says such a man's praise is not from men, but from Yahweh. See that physical. He's like, don't dwell in that physical sense, the fleshly sense. Dwell within that Ruach, the spirit of Almighty Yahweh. That's how we get by. When we give into the flesh, that's when we go wrong, Israel. But Yahweh wants us to see that we had to see spiritually. Don't look at the flesh all the time. Think spiritually and think on what Yahweh wants. Now let's go back to Acts. Because it was a man that was telling the people these things. There was a man that was telling the people, you know, all the things that they have done and they need to turn from their ways. He was telling them all the things that we just read in Acts chapter 7. And the people didn't like it. Like I said, those that are righteous and stand up, the people will go against you. Now, this man, Stephen, I'm going to start at Acts 7:54 now. It says, when they heard this, the people, they were furious and gnashed their teeth at him. All because he was preaching or teaching righteousness, showing the people where their errors are. But a lot of people don't want to hear what their error is. They want to just walk in their error and have nobody say nothing to them. That's why you got the church is packed. All the people in the world, they pack the churches because a lot of the preachers, they don't say nothing about your sins. They just let it go on as long as you bringing in the money. Now, but the true people of Yahweh, they're going to bring it out. They're going to let you know because they care for you. If someone lets you know that you are in error, you are sinning, that means they love you. They want you to get on the right path. That's the same thing what Yahweh does for us. He corrects us because he loves us. He wants us to get on the right path. Now, but it says, but Stephen, full of the Ruach Ha Kodesh, looked up to the Shemaim and saw the honor of Yahweh and Yahshua standing at the right hand of Yahweh. Look, he said, I see the Shemayim, or heaven, open, and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of Yahweh. He says, at this, they covered their ears, and yelling at the top of their voices, they all rushed at him, dragged him out of the city, and began to stone him. See that when the demons, evil spirits, they hear of Almighty Yahweh, they hear of his ways, they don't want to hear that. You see, they didn't want to hear it. They started yelling to the top of their voices and then wanted to stone the man for no reason. There's countless other prophets, messengers that were stoned. Other prophets, they were killed just for proclaiming the word of Almighty Yahweh. Now that right there shows you there had to be nothing but the devil. That's your time right there. Don't want Yahweh's word to go out. It says they stoned the poor man for all that he has done. But this man was working in the Ruach. He could look up and see, okay, Almighty Yahweh and Yahshua HaMashiach. He was working in that Ruach. So don't think just because he got stoned, his body is gone and that's it. No, Yahweh sees that. Yahweh takes note of all of his righteous that perish in his lifetime. That man will rise. Like it says, Yahshua HaMashiach, he rose. That man will rise also just because he stood in the ways of Almighty Yahweh. Let's go to book of John. This is John chapter 20, verse 19. And it says, on the evening of the first day of the week, when the disciples were together, but the doors locked for fear of the Yahudim, Yahshua came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. After he said this, he showed them his hands and side. The disciples were overjoyed when they saw Yahweh. See, this is after he died. Terrible time in their lives, but he rose. What we went through in the feast, he rose. And they were overjoyed because what he said happened. They saw that he rose and that he is alive. That's why at the end of the feast, we are overjoyed because we know he is risen, Israel. Verse 21 says, again, Yahshua said, peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I am sending you. And with that, he breathed on them and said, receive the Ruach Ha Kodesh. If you forgive anyone his sins, they are forgiven. If you do not forgive them, they are not forgiven. He gave them that Ruach, Israel. He promised them that Ruach after he went away. He promised us all that comforter, didn't he? He said he's going to send a comforter for us, to be a guide for us, to be helpful for us. So that's why we had to receive that. That comforter is the Ruach Ha Kodesh. Now, after this, you know, them disciples, they did the works. They went out and did the works of Almighty Yahweh. And how you could tell, you could see the power. Because that Ruach gives you power, Israel. You can see the power that they did amongst the nation, amongst the people. And they didn't deny it. They didn't, grieve the Holy Spirit or Ruach Ha Kodesh. No, they continually worked in it because they knew what it was going to lead to. So that's why we need to function in the Ruach Ha Kodesh, because we know where that is going to lead us to, Israel. Let's go to Acts chapter 1. Starting in verse 1, it says, in my former book, Theophilus, I wrote about all that Yahshua began to do and to teach until the day he was taken up to the Shemayim. after giving instruction through the Ruach Ha Kodesh to the apostles he had chosen. After this suffering, he showed himself to those men and gave many convincing proof that he was alive. He appeared to them over a period of 40 days and spoke about the kingdom of Yahweh. And he ain't appeared to everybody, Israel. He appears to those that love him, those that are seeking him out. He knows the world, the world doesn't love him. So he doesn't care about the world. This is a waste of time. But he's going to come to his people. He's going to show himself to his people. He's going to talk to his people. Don't let anybody say, okay, he's not talking to his people. He's not guiding his people. He has to do it. That's what that Ruach is for. Now it says, do not leave Jerusalem, but wait for the gift my Father promised, which you have heard me speak about. See, that's like I said, it's a free gift. For John baptized with water, but in a few days you will be baptized with the Ruach Ha Kodesh. So when they met together, they asked him, Yahshua, are you at the time going to restore the kingdom of Israel? And he said to them, it is not for you to know the times or dates the Father has set by his own authority, but you will receive power when the Ruach Ha Kodesh comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. See that? You will get power from Israel, that Ruach Ha Kodesh. Don't, like I said, don't think that Ruach is just any old thing. No, gives his people power. Shows you how to live, what way to go, Israel. You know, Yahshua HaMashiach even said you can do things that he has done, and these are even greater things. Not from ourselves, not from this flesh, but because that Ruach Ha Kodesh is guiding you. That's plain and simple. So don't think because we down and out, we the tail of everything, we can't do anything, be depressed. No, you can do all things, Israel. Yahweh wants you to see that you are his people. And if you are of him, you can do all things. So we shouldn't be a people that's always depressed, down and out. No, Yahweh gives us gifts, and we have to work in those gifts and let those gifts shine within Israel. And we all can be led by that Ruach. We just have to seek it, Israel. Let's go to the book of John again. This is John 16, verse 5. And this is Yahshua HaMashiach saying, I am going to him who sent me, yet none of you asked me, where are you going? Because I have said these things, you are filled with grief. But I tell you the truth, it is for your good that I am going away. Unless I go away, the Comforter will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you. When he comes, he will convict the world of guilt in regard to sin and righteousness and judgment. It says in regard to sin, because men do not believe in me. And you can see who don't believe in Almighty Yahweh when you don't walk in his ways. You continually sinning throughout your lives and just don't care. You don't believe in the Most High. You don't believe Yahweh is right there for you. So you just going to continue to do what you want to do. Now it says, in regard to righteousness, because I am going to the Father, where you can see me no longer. See, he did the will of Almighty Yahweh. He completed his work. And it was all righteousness, Israel. So we had to do our work. We had to complete our work in this lifetime and let it be seen as all righteous. And it says in regard to judgment, because the prince of this world now stands condemned. See, y'all, Satan knows he got a short period of time. So that's why he cutting up so much in this earth right now. He knows his time is drawing near. But when his time comes to a close, that's it. There's no more terrorizing, no more tearing the earth up. Guess what? He has to stand in judgment. And the last person be thrown in that fire. That burning like a fire. Everything that he has done in this lifetime, he has to pay for all those things. Now it says, I have much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. But when he, the Ruach of truth, comes, he will guide you into all truth. He will not speak on his own. He will speak only what he hears, and he will tell you what is yet to come. See, even tell you it's going to be a time where they're going to take you to the different kings, the different people of authority. And he's like, don't be afraid of what you're going to say. Don't be thinking, okay, what I'm going to say in front of these people. He says, when you go in front of those people, you will know what to say. Because guess what? That Ruach Ha Kodesh is going to bring it out of you. So there's a lot of times, instances, we should look and say, okay, how do we come out of those different things? How do we do different things? I look at certain things and okay, that was something else that I did this. But you can't look at yourself and say, okay, yeah, that was me. I did all of that. That's nothing but Yahweh. When he bring you out of certain circumstances, you don't even think you can get out of it. And you come out of it, guess what? Can't give yourself honor and hold yourself up. No, we had to give honor to Almighty Yahweh. Yahweh is always showing us different things in life. We just have to open our eyes and see and be very appreciative of it. Now, let's go to Book of Mark. Since I quoted it, I don't want to just be saying something and not go behind me and check it. This is Mark chapter 13. This is during the end times where things are going to get a little rough with Israel. And it says in Mark 13:5, watch out that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name claiming I am he and will deceive many. Now, let me ask you something. Do you think we need the Ruach Ha Kodesh in that point in time? We're going to need that Ruach Ha Kodesh in that point in time because, like it says, many are going to come and try to deceive people. Now, it even says, if possible, they deceive the very elect. Very elect. Those that are striving with Almighty Yahweh, those that are sealed with his Ruach Ha Kodesh, if it were possible. Now, that's something serious. But it says it's not possible to deceive them because they walk with Almighty Yahweh. Yahweh is showing them how to guide, go through different situations, how to avoid those things, discern. But that's going to be a serious point in time to show where we stand with Almighty Yahweh. It says, when you hear of wars and rumors of war, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places and famines. These are the beginning of birth pains. You must be on your guard. Be on guard, Israel. You must pay attention. Follow Almighty Yahweh. So you will be handed over to the local councils and flogged in their temples. On account of me, you will stand before governors and kings as witnesses to them. That's why I said in this lifetime, as we go into the world, don't be ashamed to proclaim Almighty Yahweh. Don't be embarrassed to show people who you stand for. If you are embarrassed now, guess what? In that time, you're going to fold up too. So it says, Whenever you are arrested and brought to trial, do not worry beforehand about what to say. Just say whatever is given you at the time, for it is not you speaking, but the Ruach Ha Kodesh. See, then I tell you, it's not you, Israel, that bring you out of certain circumstances you don't think you can get out of. No, that's Almighty Yahweh. And we have to recognize that, Israel. Let's go to 1 Corinthians, and I should soon be done. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what Yahweh has prepared for those who love him. See, that is, you can't fathom the things that Yahweh has done for you, Israel. Not only right now, but what he's going to do for you in that kingdom. It says, but Yahweh has revealed it to us by what? His Ruach. So he's showing you, Israel, what is waiting for you. He's showing you how to live. He's revealing all these things to you through his Ruach. Now it says Ruach searches all things, even the deep things of Yahweh. See that? All the things in his Torah, he will begin to open your mind to everything that's in his Torah and show you what you need to know. Now it says, for who among men knows the thoughts of a man except the man's spirit within him? In the same way, no one knows the thoughts of Yahweh except the Ruach of Yahweh. We have not received the spirit of the world. Don't have that spirit of the world to be wicked, to do all things that are not of Yahweh. We don't want that spirit to dwell within us, Israel. This is but the Ruach who is from Yahweh, that we may understand what Yahweh has freely given us. Freely. This is what we speak, not in words taught by us, by man's wisdom. See, you don't want to go off of man's wisdom. With man, he all wise. He thinks he know everything. Basically, man think he on the same level of Yahweh. Man tells you that Almighty Yahweh doesn't exist. Man tells you all these things were created with Big Bang. See, the wisdom of man, the man, that's not wisdom. If you want wisdom, go to Almighty Yahweh. Now it says, the man without the Ruach does not accept the things that come from the Ruach of Yahweh, for they are foolishness to him, and he cannot understand them because they are spiritually discerned. See that? That man that don't like Yahweh, that hate Yahweh and his people, don't want that Ruach. And he think everything of Almighty Yahweh is foolish. That's why man does things the way they want to do it. But Yahweh is not going to give them understanding of his word because they don't want it. You know, those that are with Almighty Yahweh, his people, he is going to give them understanding and give them discernment so they'll know what to look out for. But those in the world, those man that are walking their way, they're not going to see it coming. See, because that judgment is something serious. But Yahweh speaks about it all in his Torah, what's coming down the line. But people still want to live how they want to live. And it says the spiritual man makes judgments about all things, but he himself is not subject to any man's judgment. For who has known the mind of Yahweh that he may instruct him? And it says, but we have the mind of the Messiah. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Yahshua HaMashiach. Continue to seek out that mind. Continue to seek out that Ruach. And you will make it, Israel. Can't fail with Yahweh's Ruach Ha Kodesh. Let's go to book of John again. This is John 17. Starting in verse 20. So my prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. See, that's what he wants us to be, united. Talked about that earlier. He wants us to be of one like mind as well. Not all doing their own thing. All of us need to follow Almighty Yahweh and be one. It says, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. See, they were one. It says, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the honor that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I in them and you in me. May they be brought to complete unity to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. That's what he wants, Israel. He wants us to be united. All that fighting back and forth does not like that. But just like Yahshua HaMashiach and his father was one, like I said, he is married unto Israel. He wants us to be one with him also. And how can we be one? If we follow his ways, if we both obey everything he says, all of us are following one like mind. So don't let anybody tell you, okay, you can't be united. No, Yahweh says you can be united. You just have to live like it. You have to live this way of life like Yahweh wants us to. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My closing scripture I want to go to John 14. Starting at verse 19. It says, before long, the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. On that day, you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Whoever has my commands and obey them, he is one who loves me. He who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love him and show myself to him. Then Yahudah Iscariot said, but Yahshua, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world? See, he just talked about that. He's going to his flock. He's going to his people. He doesn't care about the whole world because the world doesn't care about him. And Yahshua replied, if anyone loves me, he will obey my teachings. And then that doesn't just include Israel. He says if anybody loves him and obeys him, he will accept them. So anybody in other nations that want to come to Almighty Yahweh and worship him, praise him, he will accept them. Now it says, he who does not love me will not obey my teaching. These words you hear are not my own. They belong to the Father who sent me. All this I have spoken while still with you. It says, but the Comforter, the Ruach Ha Kodesh, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and remind you of everything I have said to you. And it says, shalom I leave with you. My shalom I give you. I do not give you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Hallelujah. And he ends that right there. I end it right there because he says, don't be troubled. Don't be afraid. Because all the things that are coming down the line, all the things you go through in this lifetime, can't be afraid. If you allow that Ruach to dwell within you, Yahweh got you. Yahweh will see you. Even if you lose your life and his namesake, you will find it again. So we have to walk this way and want to seek out his Ruach Ha Kodesh. We should want his spirit to guide us. And like it said, you do not have the spirit of the world, Israel. You have the Ruach of Almighty Yahweh. So just walk like it. Hallelujah. So that concludes my message this evening. I ask that we all stand as we go into prayer. Yahweh, we told you for your word. We told you for your Torah. We told you for all the things that you have shown your people. Everything that you have given your people. Yahweh, we told you even for the gift of your Ruach Ha Kodesh. Yahweh, let that Ruach guide us. Let that Ruach send us to your almighty kingdom. Let your Ruach be delightful unto us. Help us to see with your eyes, Yahweh. Help us not to let this flesh get in the way, but help us to be spiritual. Help us to want to do your will like your son, YAHWEH HaMashiach. And Yahweh, help us to walk this way and protect us from all that Shaitan may throw our way. Yahweh, help us to just walk this way and just be free of any sicknesses, illnesses. Yahweh, send those things far away from us as long as our conduct is pleasing in your eyes. Yahweh, this evening I ask that you give us that rest that you have given us on your Shabbat. Help us to sleep throughout the night and get a good evening rest and wake up refreshed, wanting to give your name praise, wanting to come out to hear of your wonderful ways. In Yahshua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.